wrestling fans. What's going on? Welcome to the Know Your Role podcast. My name is Stephen McBride, along with my friends Ryan Buck and Eric Wheeler. And we're basically just three wrestling fans who wanted to give our thoughts on wrestling to the rest of the fans out there. And we really appreciate you guys joining into our first episode, so thank you very much. And let's get this on the road. So, last night, of course, was the Super Bowl, which means we had a halftime heat from NXT. It was the first time they did this
show.
Yes, the better one. We'll get into that later, but better than the whole game because that Super Bowl was
terrible.
Yeah. So it was the first time they did this show in about 20 years, and it was really good. It was a match from NXT. It was a 6-man tag. It was Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Velveteen Dream going up against Adam Cole.
Oh, no, Johnny Gargano was on the other team. No, it's fine. It's Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Velveteen.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Against Johnny
Gargano, Adam
Ciampa.
Cole, and Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah.
Right.
Love Adam Cole.
And, oh, man, this match was so great. It had everything. It was about 30 minutes long, which was the same amount as Maroon 5 stuff. And, you know.
Honestly, better than Maroon 5 stuff.
Better than Maroon 5. Better than Travis Scott, too.
You had three guys. You had 6 guys who at some point could all be stars in actual WWE, not just NXT.
They're going to be. All six of them just have so much potential. Shawn Michaels yesterday said like that he thinks saying Velveteen Dream is as good as him is like the floor for Velveteen Dream. So all of these guys are just
and I actually
so
find
brilliant.
It funny that you said Johnny Gargano was on a face team because he just turned heel.
Yeah,
this
I know.
is a new.
I prefer face Johnny Gargano. I don't think heel Gargano really works for me. That's just me. But
it's just the gimmick, the moving, or not the moving, the wrestling style and his theme song. It's gonna be hard for me to think of him as a heel.
I thought his stuff with Ricochet though were fantastic.
It was.
Right, yeah.
There's no such thing as bad Johnny Gargano.
So
obviously.
far, I thought he's been pretty good as a heel so far. At least it's worked with the story. It's worked with the storyline.
Yeah. No, I mean I like Johnny Gargano. It's gonna be hard to think of him as a heel, but I think he
He's
does
too
good
likable
work with
for
everything.
Me. Yeah.
He does good work.
There's
with
no
everything.
such like this guy's a 5-star match machine. Like.
It's true.
So halftime heat was great. But another thing I wanted to get into was, of course, Rob Gronkowski now has his third ring, and there's a lot of talk about is he going to retire. He's got some health concerns, and Triple H actually over Twitter invited him to join WWE. So I want to know what you guys thought of how likely this was going to happen.
I definitely think Gronk's retiring. Joining WWE, I think it might take a year or two. I think he's going to kind of want to go out and party a little bit. It's Gronk.
Of course.
I don't know if he's going to want to, just immediately get into something new right afterwards. You might see, an appearance at maybe WrestleMania or something like that, like he did, a few years ago?
A couple years ago,
yeah.
With Mojo Riley. I don't think he'll get into, like a Ronda Rousey type thing where he's a full-time guy immediately after he retires. I think it might take a few years.
Yeah, and last night, even in an interview, they asked him, what do you see yourself doing after football? And he kind of said, he wanted to be a rapper. He wanted to try wrestling. He wanted to try a bunch of different stuff. So like Eric said, I don't think it'll be like a right away decision. I think it could be a year or even 2 if he even does decide to retire. This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
He's only 29, so
right.
He's the type of guy who I can see after he retires gets his own TV show about what Gronk's doing next, basically. Something where Gronk just does something different every episode, and it's something crazy. He that's the type of person he is.
I don't think he'd be full time just because if he is retiring because of health concerns, I don't see him doing a full time schedule with WWE. But I think he'd be great. Obviously, they'd love to just push him to the moon.
Well, yeah.
He did great at WrestleMania, I think. So
Adding on to that, let's just hypothetically say he does go to WWE. That's an instant upgrade in the acting department. He's had acting roles in the past. In cameo kind of movies or cameo role in movies, and he's a guy who just brings that personality. He's going to bring the ratings in. People are going to want to watch him because of his name and all the Super Bowl championships.
Yes, he's definitely a draw. Definitely a draw.
He's a huge human being.
Oh yeah, exactly.
6'6", 260.
Yeah, so just that right there is amazing for WWE.
Oh yeah.
They like to
Vince loves his big guys.
Exactly.
So. Obviously, the biggest story in wrestling for about a week now is the whole Dean Ambrose thing. WWE comes out after Dave Meltzer and Ryan Satin and all those guys reported that Dean Ambrose will not be renewing his contract when it expires. He will be leaving the company. And it's all a question of why. Obviously, he's been the worst booked out of the 3 Shield members. And I think that's the big thing for me is he's always going to be seen as the third guy in the Shield. He's always going to be the least successful Shield, not because of him. It's just because those 2 guys are just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want about Roman Reigns. He can wrestle. He is a very good wrestler, and his style is, and Ambrose's style is so, it's so anti WWE. He's known as a hardcore guy. So.
And also another thing with Seth and Roman is, again, they're such good wrestlers in the ring, and I don't want to disrespect Dean. I think actually
he's great too, but
out
his
of the
style is
three
so
of them,
anti-PG.
Right. Well, out of the three of them, I would say he did have a gimmick, whereas could you tell me Roman has a gimmick or Seth has a gimmick? I mean, really, they don't have a gimmick, but Dean does have good qualities. It's just when you compare him to the guys like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, it's really hard to compare them to each other.
And it's always going to be a comparison for him because that's how he started. It's always going to be, how does he compare to the other two Shield guys? And I think him leaving WWE would be very beneficial because he could be the guy. He could be the guy in a place like AEW, obviously. They're the elephant in the room in this.
Let's get Eric's perspective. He doesn't like
I
Dean.
honestly disagree a little bit. I never liked Dean Ambrose. I didn't like him when he was in the Shield. I didn't like any of his gimmicks. I don't like any of his moves. His finisher is the double hook DDT that I will always remember being Drew McIntyre's.
I remember his
back when Drew McIntyre was the INC on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked it. The thing I hated the most was when he gets hit and he goes into the ropes and comes back and hits a clothesline. I never liked Dean Ambrose. There was something about him. Seth Rollins can have a 5-star match with anybody. You can see Roman, as much as people like to hate on Roman, and I honestly am not the biggest fan of Roman, but he puts on good matches. Dean Ambrose, to me, I get bored watching him. It's the same moves.
He's very dry.
Yeah, it's the same moves over and over again. He's not as athletic as both Seth and Roman. He's just, to me, he was boring to watch.
I'm not a fan of his WWE work, but, as an indie watcher, I remember his good stuff. I know WWE's not his best work. I think Eric's kind of right. His matches in WWE were not that great, but it's because of his style. His style does not fit the company. So I think AEW, they got Joey Janela. That's a dream match right there. That's a hardcore fan's dream.
Also, something you're bringing up before the podcast, you say he doesn't like the hokey stuff. He doesn't like the...
He doesn't like the cheesy stuff. He doesn't like the Asylum matches. He doesn't like the being sprayed in the face by Bray Wyatt stuff. He's not into that.
Right.
Which I think it's crazy because I thought the Asylum match, if they did it a little bit different, would have actually been a good match.
I didn't hate that match.
I thought that it was perfect for who he was. He liked Extreme. If WWE wasn't PG and you could have brought back... He dropped Jericho on tax in that match, which I thought was crazy because they hadn't done that in forever. And, I didn't think that match was bad. And, I thought if you put a cage on top of that match and you hung stuff from the ceilings, I thought that would have been the perfect thing. That could have been his match. Like how Undertaker had the Hell in the Cell, Great Khali had the Punjabi Prison, Dean Ambrose could have the Asylum. And I thought that you could have used that maybe every 8 months or so, maybe every year he gets one Asylum match. That's Dean Ambrose's match, and it would get a huge pop because he'd come out and, we're doing this in an Asylum match, and everybody would have a huge pop. But I don't know. To me, that was one of his better matches. I thought his first match he had for the INC against The Miz was really good, but then they kind of drowned that out over a lot of matches that just didn't have to happen. For me, I'm okay with Dean Ambrose leaving. I've never really liked him.
I think it's going to benefit him. I really do.
So let's talk about the other side of things. What if this happens to be a work? We saw this with CM Punk a couple years ago, Money in the Bank, where he faced John Cena. He won the WWE Championship. He was apparently leaving with the WWE Championship, and then they re-signed him. Could this possibly be a work?
It is possible, especially with WWE putting it on their Instagram saying he will not be re-signing after his contract ends in April. But there's good reasons for him to leave. It's not the money because he was just offered a raise before he said he declined it. But AEW seems really good for him.
I'll say it too. WWE's been so good lately working with the media because a couple of years ago, I'll say it, everything was on the media. Everything. And you heard AJ Styles was returning. You heard, or going to signing with WWE. You heard everything. Lately, some of these rumors and stuff.
I think that's why they just admitted it because everybody on the internet knew it before they said it. So.
Well, I'm kind of going at the point of they're saying this, and it might not be true. I'm just saying.
They could be feeding it to them, knowing that he's going to come back. Maybe. I say about 30% chances to work.
I think if it is, it would be perfect if they set it up as he's leaving after WrestleMania, but then have him beat someone at WrestleMania. It's kind of have him beat Triple H. Have him go out as this big thing, And then maybe like that next Raw, they have like a thing where number one contendership match, and Dean ends up being like the mystery person who comes into that match or something like that.
Tonight's the first Raw since the story came out. We'll see what they do.
Yeah,
what they do with him.
I mean, stories coming up in my head. It's a couple years ago.
It'd be brilliant. It would be brilliant.
We saw Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, where Dolph Ziggler's
and everyone thought he was out.
Everyone thought Dolph Ziggler was gone. Everyone thought his contract was up. This rumor's coming up, and he even said that he wasn't going to be in. He wasn't going to participate in the Royal Rumble, and he did. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, WWE's done a good job with handling the media and keeping secrets lately.
I think that
definitely going to be an interesting couple of months.
Yeah, if maybe they do something where like he puts his career on the line at WrestleMania or something like that, and if he wins it, then maybe he comes back. If he loses it, he's gone.
It's going to be interesting to watch what WWE does with him for the next couple of months. All right, so we are a couple weeks away from Elimination Chamber. It's the 17th of this month. A couple of really good Elimination Chambers. You got the women's tag match. So far, you got 4 teams. You've got Nia Jax and Tamina. You got Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Both those. Oh, yeah. You got the Riot Squad, and then you got the Iconics. You got 2 open spots left. You pretty much can assume one of them is going to be Sasha Banks and Bayley. And then we don't know. I can't think what they're gonna do for the second. Maybe the Bella Twins bring them back. But
that's what I think. I think it's gonna be the Bella Twins. I mean, that was one of your big tag teams for a while. I know a lot of people don't like them. Honestly, their wrestling.
I don't like them.
Yeah, their wrestling style to me was boring, but it was one of your bigger tag teams for a while. They're one of your biggest things with. They have their own show now, don't they?
Yeah.
So I mean, they're one of your biggest market.
Yeah,
they have one of your biggest marketing aspects. Bring them back.
My prediction for that is I got Naomi and Lana. And it's not the most exciting, but I've seen WWE it's probably not going to be the Bella Twins, and that could be a very big possibility. I mean, we're bringing them back, something that maybe the fans wouldn't like. But the reason I'm saying Naomi and Lana is because they kind of had that. Remember that dance battle about a couple months ago.
And by what I hear, they do want to turn Lana face now. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, isn't she? I mean, she was kind of face with Rusev Day, but I don't know. Rusev's kind of turning heel again with Nakamura, so I don't know where that's going to go. But I feel like it's going to be a less exciting and not kind of a surprise. I think it'll just be kind of like a random tag team. Like we just saw Donna Brooke and Natalia team up. I mean, I think Naomi and Lana could be just kind of a random team just put in there. I don't think it's a
throwaway team.
Yeah,
right.
This
Exactly.
is my problem with the women's tag titles right now. Is this is the first match that they're gonna have, and we're already talking about how many tag teams can we put in there. Like we're already running out of ideas basically, and we're just fans.
So you're questioning the timing of this, right?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a good idea. TNA worked with it for a while and it was successful, but the roster for the women is a lot smaller than the men. So
yeah, I mean,
I would like to see more women's matches without titles rather than putting a new title in.
Right. And I mean, in all honesty, this is just. Maybe it's a belt that should be there because they're trying to equal women to men, and men have a tag title, so they're giving women a tag title.
They can't even get the men right, it seems like, because there's a lot of questions for me as to what they're doing with the men's tags.
That's what I'm saying, and there's just so many belts at this point. I mean, they can't even fit all these belts on one card now. So,
I disagree with that. I think that this women's tag team titles are a lot overdue. I think that the match they're putting it into is going to be hard because you need 6 teams, whereas you could have done something where they had maybe a little tournament type thing, and the 2 meet in the middle at the ending where it could have been Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Riot Squad at the end of the day. Making an Elimination Chamber is kind of making it thin to the point where you have to have 6 teams. You could have easily worked with it where we have 4 teams right now. You have the Iconics, you have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, you got the Riot Squad, and you have Bayley, and I mean you even have Tamina and Nia. So I mean you have teams there. I think it was just where they put it into was a match that you need 6 spots filled, and they don't have 6 spots available. They don't have these 6 teams. You're gonna have to throw together a Natalia and a Dana Brooke, or you could bring up someone from NXT. You could make that a surprise. But honestly, I think the belts are long overdue. I do believe that women deserve a tag belt. For me, I think the whole title situation we're talking about, you could take away one of the men's tag titles. You have one on Raw and one on SmackDown. You could
if you had them float between both, that'd be
exactly. You could have it if we're talking about too many titles. Take away one of the men's tags.
Since we're talking about all these tags, want to just go to the other tag title match, or
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We got Shane and McMahon and The Miz, the brand new tag team champions crowned at the Royal Rumble, versus the Usos. Usos just won the #1 contendership last week on SmackDown. I think this is going to be good. I think The Miz and Shane will retain. I think they'll be tag champs for a little while before WrestleMania, because I think they will break up and it'll start their feud. I think they'll keep it towards Fastlane.
and it's so funny that we know like there's going to be a feud.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
the writing's on the wall.
It's it sounds too good. It's like how could it not happen? I mean,
It's such
it seems
a
like
weird combo. That's why.
right. I mean,
it's so weird, but it's perfect. They're really. I really think they're doing a great job as tag champs right now. I think they're funny. I think
And Shane McMahon,
they have chemistry. Like
he during that match actually looked really good. He hit the shooting star press to end it. That was crazy.
yeah.
You talk about a mark in a match that made you like set up like, whoa, what? That for me was that. I was Shane's 50? So
I think he's a little older. I think he's like 53.
and he hit a shooting star press. That was wild. I could not believe that. I thought that match went really well. Miz is my favorite guy. Yeah, it's very well known around here that Miz is my favorite. So I love that they're giving him a title push again. I do think that the writing is on the wall that they will end up he'll end up facing Shane. Whether Shane turns on him or he turns on Shane, it's more likely probably that the Miz turns on Shane because Miz is a way better heel than he is a face. But right now he's doing pretty good as a face. But I think the match against the Usos will be good because I like the Usos as a tag team. They are very good on putting on matches, and I think the Miz and Shane I think it's going to be a very, very, very good match at Elimination Chamber, and one that could steal the show, I believe.
The final match, obviously, that is so far confirmed, is the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber. You got Daniel Bryan, the champion, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Mustafa Ali, Randy Orton, and Samoa Joe. There's not a single person there that I don't think is a bad fit. I feel like Mustafa is a little out there, but he's great. He's been doing great since he got called up to SmackDown. I think they really nailed it out of the park. I think it's going to be really good.
I agree. I like everybody in this match. I really don't want Daniel to retain it because, as you guys know, I don't like Daniel Bryan. I think that I would love if it was Samoa Joe, and that's who I'm going to predict to win this match. I'm gonna go on a limb and say Samoa Joe is the winner of this match. That's who I want to see win. I think the dark horse who could win this is Mustafa Ali, and I know it sounds crazy, but they've pushed him so hard lately. It wouldn't surprise me if like a pop at the ending is like Daniel Bryan versus Mustafa Ali to end the match.
This is really interesting. They could go all 6 ways if they really wanted to. There's not a person here who I can't see as a good WWE champion right now.
Oh, I fully agree.
I mean, I'm looking at the list, and I've been kind of crossing off guys like. I think Mustafa Ali, yeah, he's worthy, but I don't see him getting the push. AJ Styles had it for quite some time, like the whole year. Yeah. I don't think he deserves it again. I mean, obviously he deserves the belt. He's always worthy, but I don't think it's a good timing. Jeff Hardy, he's been around a long time, and of course he's actually my favorite wrestler of all time. But again, he's older. I don't see him getting a push, and honestly, they've been making him lose a lot lately, so I don't see him getting a push. Randy Orton, maybe.
He's had so many belts.
He's had so many belts, and Samoa Joe, again, it seems like they're almost like, they're not burying him, but it seems like lately, losing all those times to AJ Styles. Survivor Series, he got eliminated in like 5 minutes. He was the first one eliminated. I mean, in the Royal Rumble, nothing memorable there.
He got eliminated by Mustafa Ali.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, just nothing memorable there for him. I mean, a lot of his work lately just hasn't been anything special, so I don't see him getting it. I think Daniel Bryan will retain the title. It just makes more sense for a storyline's sake, and I think probably Eric Rowan will get involved in this.
I just want to pitch out a storyline here, because this is something that I've read in a little bit of a rumor. What if, like, remember how Shawn Michaels came in and sweet-chinned The Undertaker? What if Bray Wyatt comes in and costs Daniel Bryan the title?
Bray Wyatt's been gone for a while.
People have rumored him coming back, and it is a thing.
He showed up at the StarCast show.
Starcade, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard it
November, and then just disappeared. I'm like, okay.
I've heard it rumored that he could be coming back sooner rather than later, and this would be the perfect opportunity. Have the lights go out, have him do that creepy ass thing he does, where he's on his hands and feet upside down, with Daniel Bryan and whoever you really want left. I don't really care who it is. All these guys are good. And have him cost Daniel Bryan the title, and then you could have a Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt feud at WrestleMania or at Fastlane if they don't want to stretch it on that long. and then give the title to someone else. Honestly, Daniel Bryan, as much as I hate him, as much as I don't like him, a lot of people do. He's good enough to succeed without a belt on him. Honestly. So I believe that is something that could happen.
Looking at this, I really like the idea of Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Both great Ring of Honor careers. Both long-time wrestlers. 20 years for each of them. I really think that's the match I want to see. But I don't know. They could go any way with this. There's a million possibilities right now.
Very true. I think for me, I want Samoa Joe to win. I'd want the Bray Wyatt thing to happen. That Bray Wyatt versus Daniel. And I think Samoa Joe versus... I'd want to say either Jeff Hardy or Orton would be probably the match for me.
So this Elimination Chamber, they've got only 3 matches so far. But they're all pretty looking good.
Yeah,
and I think they only need to add a couple more. And they'll have a really good show set up. So... that's matches for the WWE Championship. Let's talk a little bit about the champion, Daniel Bryan. He turned heel back in November, and he's been just doing great since then. I really give him credit because he's the one who went up to Vince and said, you should turn me heel and give me the belt, and they just rolled with it, and he's been doing great. He's got the vegan character going now, which is he's really good with because it's him in real life. He debuted the hideous belt. It's so hideous, but it's also so perfect. He debuted it last week on SmackDown. So what do you guys think about what he's doing?
I'll go first, because I am the resident hater of Daniel Bryan. I've hated him since he came in. I didn't like that he had to work with The Miz. I hate that he got his first title against The Miz. I love the rivalry between The Miz and Daniel Bryan because it works so well, but I never liked Daniel Bryan. I hate this vegan aspect. I hate the title because it's so ugly. I don't like anything Daniel Bryan's doing right now. For me, at least, I don't like him with the belt. I don't like anything he's doing. I thought the Eric Rowan thing was a stretch. For me, I just wish they would have already put it on Samoa Joe. I wish they would already put it on Jeff Hardy, put it on Randy Orton, put it on someone else. I'm tired of seeing Daniel Bryan. I am. I was happy when he was gone. When he came back, he got a pop. I didn't pop. I was like, I now have to watch this guy again, and I'm annoyed. I didn't like when he won at WrestleMania. I thought it was a perfect storyline, but I, honestly, when he won the belt against Batista and Orton at WrestleMania, I would have rathered it be Triple H, Batista, and Orton. That was just me. I don't like Daniel Bryan. I am very against Daniel Bryan.
That's a stretch. Like, I think what you said is right. Like, the vegan stuff is annoying because I hate, like, vegans in real life. I have a couple friends that they're annoying. But that's why, like, I'm a wrestling purist, so I think that's great. Like, there's so many, like, cool guy heels now. There's so many cool guy heels that people don't like. Or they don't hate, they actually like him. And so to have somebody you actually don't like, he's doing his job. He's doing, like, that belt is ugly, but that's why it's perfect. Like,
I mean, here's my take, because I'm actually going to, like, go totally against Eric over here, who just said he doesn't like anything Daniel Bryan puts out there. Who made WrestleMania 30 relevant? I mean, this guy went out
Brock
there.
Lesnar too, but
Brock Lesnar got hate for beating The Undertaker. I mean, Daniel Bryan... I mean, he went out there and beat Triple H in a really good match, by the way, for the first match of the night. Okay, very good match. And then later on that night, he was able to go out there and, again, I mean, yeah, they already picked the winner and everything. But Daniel Bryan still went out there. He still went out there, and he had a heck of a WrestleMania, won the championship, okay? I honestly think his work is awesome, and that's way back then. And right now... Huh?
His work is great.
And right now, with him being this vegan kind of heel, it shows you that, you know, he can move on from all that yes and no type stuff. Everyone thought that's what defined his career, okay? He's showing that he can go after a different gimmick and still make it work.
I will touch on that too. I hate the yes chant. The yes chant is so annoying.
It did get a little overused, but he made it a name out of it. He made millions of dollars off it.
I'll give him credit. He made something out of absolutely nothing.
It's everywhere now. Sports games, they all use it.
Islanders use it after every time they score, and I'll give it to them.
I think Michigan State basketball uses it too.
But it's the second worst chant other than the CM Punk chant.
But we talk about these wrestlers who make these little things into these big things, and everybody's one of them. I mean, Chris Jericho
got a clipboard over.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Chris Jericho made it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, something as simple as a yes, I mean, you have to give him props for making
I can
that
understand
as big as it is.
Eric's view, because, like, if you only watch his WWE work, some of it can be, like, a little 50-50. I love Daniel Bryan.
I'll give Daniel Bryan this. For what he's given to work with, the vegan aspect, the yes chant, Team Hell No, he's been very good at getting over no matter what he has done with the crowd. For me, he hasn't gotten over with me, but for the WWE Universe as a whole, he gets over very, very, very well. Everybody seems to like him. Even as a heel right now, he's doing his perfect job of everybody hating him. So I'll give him that credit there. To me, he is very boring in the ring. I guess I kind of like his aspects of when he matches. He goes in and does a lot of submission moves and starts reversing stuff into a bunch of close submissions. That's cool. But when he gets out of that and tries to do other stuff, I don't like that. I don't really like his finisher all too much, which is weird because I like Drew McIntyre's, but I don't like Daniel Bryan's. I just think Drew McIntyre's works more for him, but that's just me.
All right, so I think we had a really good show here. Thank you, fans, for listening to our first show. Please come back next week. We appreciate you. And this has been the Know Your Role podcast. Thank you very much, guys.